In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Phoenix Suns versus the Adelaide 36ers. This was a game where the Phoenix Suns should have absolutely destroyed this team. However, that's not what happened. And of course, the title says Kai Sotto beat the Suns, but really it was a massive team effort. So let's get down, let's check this out. So first off, this first play by the Suns is absolutely fantastic. We can see Chris Paul calling the play right now, and there was really not much that the 36ers could really do. There was a player in the corner, he's coming off of a staggered screen, and at this time, after that staggered screen, that ball goes into the high post with DeAndre Ayton. That whole staggered screen away for the corner was a total distraction for what's ultimately going to happen. After that pass into that high post, Chris Paul cuts to the basket. Coming off of that cut, that player who was coming off of that staggered screen originally sets a pin down for the corner on this side, and now it goes into a DHO for Booker, and Booker's able to attack that rim. These misdirection plays are becoming more and more popular in the NBA, and we're probably going to be seeing a lot of them this year. Now, this play by the 36ers was really good as well. So we have a baseline cutter, again, a little bit of a misdirection, and these two players are going to be sprinting up, potentially using a DHO. Now, at this point, the ball handler decides, will he do a DHO with him or with him? In this case, he offers to do essentially a dribble handoff. He passed the ball first and then set that screen for that screen and roll at the point. Now, what worked really well here was he popped back out away from the low post. If he didn't do that, this man would have been stuck and the play would have been dead. So it's always nice having teammates who are able to read defenses, and that allowed him to get that mid-range jumper. Now, coming off of this pin down and screen up top, so pin down here and then the screen up top, coming off of this screen is a massive issue right here, and the main reason why the 36ers won. They hit way too many threes. The Suns were worried too much about the cutters and not enough about the three-point shooters. This is a very three-point heavy shooting team, or at least they have a lot of three-point shooters who can jack it up at a high percentage, and they were not covering those shots. However, the one thing that did stand out was the inability for the 36ers to cover the screen and roll. Of course, it's really hard to cover somebody who can jack up mid-range shots and get your guards in jail while trying to defend at the same time a very big person in DeAndre Ayton, and he just had a field day and he could have done a lot more damage than what he did. And we can see that here as well. They set that screen now. This was a really nice pocket pass right there to DeAndre Ayton. There was nothing that these two defenders could have done. Help side comes over, but help side is way too small to be able to guard DeAndre Ayton, and he just has a field day. Now, one thing about Kai Sotto is his passing ability. Kai Sotto right here gets a nice drop-off pass to a baseline cutter. Fantastic pass. Let's look at that again and see how this actually worked out. So, wingman cuts down towards the corner, essentially using that man essentially as a screen. He reads that his man is unable to stay with him when that ball went into the low post. Kai Sotto then dropped that ball off and he was able to get that layup. Again, this is what happened essentially all game. We see these players who are wide open at the three-point line. This player got open because he did essentially a quick cut and then back out to lose his man. That then made this man more worried about, of course, the low post player. And this is the story about the whole game. The Suns were more worried about getting damaged in the low post than actually getting damaged out on the three-point line. This man was doubling that low post player. Yes, there was a size advantage there. However, they totally ignored most of the three-point shooters on the floor, and of course the 36ers made the Suns pay for that. Again, we see this here too. This man is more worried about Kai Sotto essentially cutting towards the basket and guarding his man super low than, of course, guarding him for the three-point shot that he's known for hitting. Now, for the one time that they're worried about the man driving from the perimeter, they leave Kai Sotto open along the Russian spot. The guy who was guarding the three-point line, or the corner, was not playing good enough help defense. He should have been shifting down faster. He was not paying attention. He was, in this case, more worried about the kick-out pass than the low-post man in the Russian spot. And, of course, Kai Sotto made them pay. Again, not worried as much about the three-point line, and the Suns are getting torched by the three-point shots. And this was pretty much the story the entire night. They were giving way too much space to the three-point shooters, and the three-point shooters were making them pay. At this point, it's 42-31 for the Adelaide 36ers. Now, this is another fantastic Horns play where we have one high post player screening for the other, and then that high post player then goes and sets a back screen for the ball handler. Again, another misdirection play, everyone thinking the ball is going to go to this man, when in reality, it's going to be a screen and roll for Chris Paul. Chris Paul is going to get DeAndre Ayton that ball, and because that now puts that defender in a situation where he's guarding two players, he will always guard the big man who's attacking the basket. Obviously, there's no team that wants to have a drive right down the middle, so he's going to be guarding that. And of course, the Suns are an NBA team. They have guys who know how to read defenses, and of course, they're able to make the 36ers pay for that defense. And then what happens when you allow a team to hit a lot of threes? Well, they're going to take more and more threes even if they are covered. And then, because they're feeling it, the basketball gods are going to allow them to make some crazy shots like this one. Again, still no real ability to guard that screen and roll. These guys are way too high. They need to be in a lot further. Kai Sotto hedged way too high on Chris Paul as well. That allowed DeAndre Ayton to be wide open for that dunk. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, coming off of a point to wing screen, DeAndre Ayton is not known as a three-point shooter. Kai Sotto, even though this man should be the help man who comes over, Kai Sotto should be trying to cut off this drive, but a bit deeper. Kai Sotto, in this play, ends up staying with DeAndre Ayton. What should have happened was Kai Sotto should have got deeper into the key, or at least ran along that player who's driving, so that now he would be in position to block that shot. Now this man should be coming out to guard DeAndre Ayton, so that this layup right here, or this dunk, would never have happened. Kai Sotto should have followed that man, should have been a one-on-two situation with Kai Sotto going in and trying to block that shot. This man was in no way, shape, or form in position to defend that, and because of that, Kai Sotto is the one who should have been coming down. Now, for those players or those fans or whoever who say that Kai Sotto is not strong enough to be able to battle NBA centers in the low post, that right there proves my point that he is strong enough. Of course, he gets the double team from his teammate on DeAndre Ayton, but before that even happened, he was able to withstand those hits. And I've said this before, like, he's battled Boban Marjanovic, who's a much bigger player, and he's actually done very well against players like that. So for those who say that Kai Sotto is not strong enough, are just not paying attention to his low post skills. He just sometimes makes mistakes. Now, coming off of this screen and roll, he needs to take that man. Looks to be Booker in this clip, who's basically put his man in jail. Kai Sotto needs to cut that drive off, and this man needs to come down and guard Ayton. And that switch is just not happening, and it allowed Booker to have a massive dunk. I don't care if you get dunked on, but if you cut him off early, you could take a charge. This man could come down, take a charge on Ayton, whatever may happen, but you cannot allow these dunks to happen. You as a big man need to get in front and make sure that nobody gets an easy basket. You have 5 fouls. Use every single one of them. Now, here's some bad defense by the Suns. They get that ball into that roll man. After they get that ball to the roll man, help man comes over, which is exactly what should happen, but this man needs to sink down. That didn't happen, and the 36ers again get a wide open three. Now, they're running the same Horns play as I showed earlier. They tend to use this a lot, and Ayton again onto Chris Paul for the screen and roll. Comes off. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Now, of course, DeAndre Ayton is a massive player. He's going to be able to finish that, but he could also get the kick-out pass for a three as well. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'll take the big man dunking over top of two guys any day. And again, once you start rolling, it just gets to a point, like, this is a pretty well-covered shot. There is a good amount of space between these players, though. But once you start getting rolling, you can extend your range farther and farther back, and it doesn't seem like you're actually shooting from any further. We can see this yet again here. Comes off of a little bit of a brush screen, jacks up a 3 from really deep. Again, if you're hitting 3s and you're hitting them consistently and the team is allowing you to do that, you could shoot 20 feet beyond the 3 sometimes and it feels like you're shooting a regular 3. Now here they're playing a 4 out, and he has a teammate. Kai Sotto's teammate drives to the basket. Kai Sotto then notices he's got a little bit of an opening happening in the middle of the key, and he's able to stick it out there until his teammate is able to get him that ball for that dunk. Now, of course, my team's going to be running the forward offense. I'm going to be showing him this clip specifically, especially for the high post players. If you got a player driving, try to find an opening in the middle of the key, and you could get yourself an easy layup, or, of course, for those who can dunk, you can get a dunk. And then coming off of this brush screen, we have Kai Sotto jacking a 3. Again, once a team starts rolling with 3s, you're going to be unstoppable from the 3-point line. I hope that this video has helped you become a better basketball player or team, or, of course, coach. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.